Yeah, that's a thrill for them. Sure. Welcome back to CBS Mornings. We're going to begin with this because we're going to hear from Olympic gymnast and advocate Aly Raisman about her very powerful testimony on Capitol Hill. Now, she testified with 3 other world champion gymnasts. There was Simone Biles, Michaela Maroney, and Maggie Nichols. They discussed the investigation into sexual abuse by former Team USA Dr. Larry Nassar. This hearing followed a report that found that 2 FBI field officers, quote, failed to respond to the Nassar allegations with the utmost seriousness and urgency that the allegations deserved and required. Raisman said that one agent diminished her abuse and made her feel like it was not worth pursuing a case.
Over the past few years, it has become painfully clear how a survivor's healing is affected by the handling of their abuse. And it disgusts me that we are still fighting for the most basic answers and accountability over 6 years later.
Disgust is the word. FBI Director Christopher Wray testified he has no explanation for the actions of the agents at those 2 offices. He said the Bureau is taking steps to ensure that this never happens again. Aly Raisman joins us now to discuss. Aly Raisman, first I want to say to you, thank you so much for your testimony yesterday. I have to say it was gut-wrenching, but I think it was something that we all really needed to hear, and I really applaud your bravery for sitting there and sharing it with all of us. Second, I want to know what it took for you to prepare for yesterday and how you felt when it was all over. The testimony you said, like serving up young women on a silver platter to pedophiles, was very, very difficult.
Yeah, thank you for asking that question, because I think so many people, you know, they may watch it, but they don't really actually realize how much goes into it. And for me personally, I spend so much time preparing for the testimony, and I feel like I overthink every single word. And so it was so draining for me. Right now I kind of feel a little bit like in fight or flight mode. So I think I feel a little bit more awake than I thought I would, because I don't know if anyone else can relate to this. When you feel so anxious, it's kind of hard to relax and hard to sit still. But the weeks leading up to preparing for the testimony was so draining and so exhausting, and it affects me physically. Like, I have migraines. I am like so tired. My body hurts. I feel like I just finished a training session. And yesterday I left feeling more hopeful than I thought I would. I'm obviously really triggered and exhausted, but it seemed that the senators were very validating, so I'm really hoping they're going to be able to help us.
Aly, it's great to hear that you're feeling more hopeful. We heard from FBI Director Christopher Wray, who said it was inexcusable, the FBI's behavior. He had no explanation, and that steps were being taken to make sure it never happens again. Are you aware of what those steps are? Have you heard directly from the FBI?
I have not, and you know, I think there has been, you know, a resignation and someone was fired, but it's similar with USA Gymnastics and USOPC, where we don't have explanations, and that leaves us to speculate or guesswork. And when we're talking about children being safe and children being spared the abuse that I and so many others endured, we want answers. And so I do want to understand what they're doing, but in order for me to believe in a safer future, we need to be looking at the FBI, USA Gymnastics, and USOPC and recognizing that there is an interplay among the 3 organizations, and they all need to be investigated, because if there is not a true independent investigation, we can't believe in a safer future. So, you know, now I'm hoping that the senators will help us get that rolling, because I don't know what else to do from here. If they're not able to help us, then I don't know. It needs to happen, in my opinion, though.
Simone Biles said that she competed in this year's Olympics, so this wouldn't be swept under the rug. What did you think about what she said?
You know, I think that Simone is incredible. I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of Maggie and Michaela. This is so hard for all of us. You know, the last couple of years watching Simone train while also navigating the abuse.
And for bringing light to the crisis of abuse in amateur sports.
You know, listen, we all knew that you all had been let down. I think most of us did not know the extent to how the FBI and so many adults let you all down. And I'm wondering how you're processing this now.
Yeah, I think, processing this is really hard to navigate it. It's hard, especially when for so long, I think all of our abuse was really diminished by people in big positions of power, the FBI, U.S. Olympic Committee, and USA Gymnastics, making us feel like our abuse wasn't a big deal. And so I think that for me personally, it's taken a lot of therapy, a lot of time for me to realize what happened to me was bad and what I feel is real, and that this is so much bigger than us. And so it's a balance of taking care of myself. And obviously today I feel like I need to be taking care of myself, but at the same time, we recognize the importance of, hopefully things are going to be moving, but I think that any time that we can talk about it, it hopefully helps push for change. But, I think I keep thinking about all of the young survivors out there, and even just survivors that are adults, and just the message that is being sent by the FBI, in my opinion, it's horrific. It's like if our experience is public, it makes it.
Talking about it is so important, and I'm wondering, did you all ever talk to each other about it? It happened to so many young women. Did you all ever talk amongst yourselves, or did you all just think we're the only ones this is happening to?
I can recall talking about some of our experiences with each other, but because there was not a lot of conversation around what sexual abuse or sexual assault was, in my mind, if I would ever have conversations with my teammates, it never occurred to me that it was actual sexual abuse. I recognized that this wasn't right, but I didn't know what it was, and I recognized I was uncomfortable. But at the same time, I thought, he's a doctor, so I feel guilty now for distrusting a doctor. Who am I to say that what he's doing isn't right? And honestly, it was so normalized in the most horrific way, where when, Nasser was abusing me, he was abusing so many of my teammates, that I thought, okay, it seems he's been doing this for decades, so if it wasn't right, someone would have said something a long time ago. So I'm the problem. I'm wrong for questioning him. And that's something that I think a lot of survivors do, is we distrust how we feel.
Aly, on the subject of survivors, you have a documentary coming out on Lifetime in which you spoke to a number of survivors, not only in the world of gymnastics, as I understand it. What did you learn from them?
It was, working on the Darkness to Light documentary. It's a 3-hour special with Lifetime that actually airs on Friday, September 24th. It was just a really incredible experience. It was obviously so many things mixed in one, where it's empowering, but it's also devastating to hear survivors' experiences. And something that I learned from the Lifetime show, but also even from yesterday, being with my friends and my teammates, is the power of community. And it's so special to be able to connect with survivors that I've never met before, that we have this special unspoken bond where I feel like we can finish each other's sentences. They help me feel validated. They help me feel less alone. And so I can only hope that they felt that same thing from me. But it was a really beautiful experience, and I'm so grateful for their time and for the survivors sharing their stories. And I hope that it helps someone out there.
I know it will help someone out there, Aly Raisman. Again, we thank you. Thank you for talking yesterday. It's so personal and so private and so painful, and yet you're with us again this morning. Really, we thank you so much. I hope
you for your strength.
Be okay. Nate's right. We thank you for your strength. It is.